Chapter 55. Straight to the Wedding. "I'm sorry, Mr. Hart. I tried to stop Miss Hart, but she—" Assistant Fu trailed off, seemingly at a loss for words. Philip naturally didn't appreciate his daughter barging into his office unannounced. He frowned and waved Assistant Fu away, dismissing her. Ava paid no attention to his displeasure. She smiled sweetly at the two men and greeted them before settling into the seat across from Philip without a hint of hesitation. Philip's tone was thick with annoyance. "What are you doing here?" Ava sat properly on the sofa. She smoothed out her skirt, then spoke softly. "I just wanted to ask you, Dad, did Mr. and Mrs. Quinn do something to upset you?" "What?" Philip was completely confused by his daughter's out-of-the-blue question. Mr. and Mrs. Quinn had been hired to take care of Grace when Grace's mother fell seriously ill. Even after Grace's mother passed and Philip's current wife took over caring for Grace, Mrs. Quinn had stayed on to look after his younger daughter. But because they'd been brought in by Grace's mother, and because the couple had been so careful and considerate during Grace's mother's final days, Grace's mother had even said on her deathbed that they would take good care of Grace for her. Philip paid them far more than the standard household staff salary out of respect for Grace's late mother. They were fired. Ava looked at Philip innocently. "I thought maybe you didn't like them anymore and had Mom let them go. After all, they were hired by Grace's mom, and they've been here for years. Mom wouldn't dare fire them on her own." Though Ava's words suggested she didn't believe it was Monica's decision, she knew her father would fill in the blanks himself. He'd assumed Monica had fired Grace's mother's people out of jealousy. That's right. In Philip's mind, anyone hired by Grace's late mother was Grace's mother's person. The reason Ava hadn't gone to Monica about this was simple. It wouldn't have done any good. Just because she was close to Mrs. Quinn, her mother had fired them. If she didn't stand up for herself now, she wouldn't be Ava Hart. When Ava left Philip's office, his face was dark as thunder. She knew she'd achieved her goal and left without looking back. Ava stepped into the elevator, ready to go home and sleep. She was exhausted. If her mother hadn't pulled this stunt, she'd be fast asleep by now. Just as the elevator doors were about to close, a large hand shot through the gap. Ava jumped, quickly pressing the button to reopen the doors. The shining elevator doors slid apart from the center. A man in a dark blue pinstriped suit appeared before her eyes. The corner of Ava's lips curved upward slightly. A flash of "just as I thought" flickered through her eyes. "Adrian, that was so dangerous just now. Please don't do that again." When he didn't respond, Ava continued, "Weren't you having a business meeting with my dad? Are you done already?" As the girl spoke, she tilted her face up. Her bright, clear eyes were filled with earnest concern, even though the man standing outside the elevator wore an expression like gathering storm clouds, his dark eyes fixed intently on her. "We weren't discussing business." Adrian withdrew his hand from the air and stepped into the elevator. Ava looked puzzled. Adrian lowered his head, his cold gaze sweeping over Ava as a shallow smile formed at his lips. "I was just explaining to him why I had to miss the engagement party due to work obligations." "Oh?" Adrian continued. "I told him we should skip the engagement party and go straight to the wedding. Your father said that's fine." Ava's pupils contracted slightly. She was genuinely surprised this time, not a trace of pretense. So, in the past 6 years, she really couldn't read Adrian anymore. He'd abandoned his girlfriend at their engagement ceremony. Hadn't that already been his choice? He'd done all sorts of intimate things with her. And he still wanted to marry Grace. Ava almost couldn't maintain the gentle, concerned expression on her face. If it weren't for the satisfaction of watching Grace's humiliation, she might have hurled her handbag right at Adrian's face. What shamelessness! He was playing out that tired novel trope perfectly, pining for his white moonlight while marrying the female lead, then tormenting the female lead while maintaining an ambiguous relationship with his true love. Ava's mood visibly deflated. She lowered her head and stepped back, putting distance between herself and Adrian. Adrian let out a cold laugh. "When did you latch onto the Reed family's eldest son?" There was an imperceptible emotion threading through the man's crisp voice. Ava bit down on her back teeth. Which busybody had been running their mouth to Adrian? If she found out who it was, she'd make sure they never had children. Ava nodded slightly, her tone somewhat self-deprecating. Mrs. Reed wants me to marry Ian. She invited my mom out shopping, and before Mom left, she told me to have dinner with Ian. He's really nice. If I had to marry him, I wouldn't be opposed. Weren't you in love with me? Now you can marry him? Adrian's tone grew heavy, as if he were forcibly restraining his anger. You're getting married. Ava's voice was so low it was almost inaudible. Her words were laced with disappointment. Adrian's hand at his side tightened into a fist. Just as Ava was wondering why the elevator hadn't arrived yet, her chin suddenly ached. An arm locked around her waist, and soft lips covered hers. Adrian held her in an iron grip. She had no choice but to endure his overwhelming kiss. She wrapped her arms around Adrian's waist and began to respond. The person holding her seemed to freeze for a moment, but the kiss didn't pause for even a second. Instead, it only deepened further. Crystal tears slid from the corners of Ava's eyes. Drop after drop traced down her cheeks, all of them falling into the large hand gripping her chin. Adrian opened his eyes. Before him was a pair of beautiful eyes brimming with tears and filled with sadness. He stopped his movements, using his thumb to wipe away the tears on Ava's face. Why are you crying? I'm not. Ava shook her head with hitching breaths, but her tears fell harder and harder until they were completely out of control. I just hate that I can't control my own heart. You're going to marry Grace, and my first thought wasn't to wish you both happiness. It was wondering that you'll only belong to Grace from now on. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I really don't want to love you anymore, but I can't control my heart. Ding! The elevator stopped at basement level 1. The elevator doors slowly opened, and Grace, standing outside, saw her sister crying her eyes out inside the elevator. And Adrian, who looked somewhat at a loss.